Hi, I'm Dave Atkinson, and welcome to Life on the Straight. This installment covers the weeks of October 27th through November 9th. The demolition continued apace. In the last segment of the series, Frank's crew found out that the tile in the sunroom hadn't been installed in the normal fashion, which would be with backer boards screwed onto the subfloor with a thin set mix on top to secure the tiles. Instead, a previous owner or their contractor used construction adhesive to attach the tiles directly to the subfloor. The crew was able to use power demolition hammers to remove the tile easily enough, but when it came time to remove the construction adhesive, that was an entirely different matter. What should have been a day's worth of work turned into a solid week, as the adhesive was resisting all attempts at removing it. That wasn't all that took place during the week, however. Also out in the sunroom, the crew removed the wooden structure which surrounded the old pellet stove's chimney, and they removed the rest of the siding as well. They also removed the 3 sliding glass doors between the house and the sunroom and set them outdoors against the house for future pickup by a recycler. In the master bathroom area, more of the stud walls were removed. More sheetrock was removed in the old dinette area and around the slider leading to the rear deck. The insulation suck truck returned to remove the rest of the attic blown-in insulation, as that was going to be a problem with the electrician and the plumber doing their work up top. The electrician showed up on Monday, and we gave him our wish list of fixtures, switches, and outlets. We spent probably an hour or so with him going over other electrical issues and answering his questions. I don't know if he did or Frank did, but some work was done downstairs in the circuit breaker boxes to deactivate power to most of the house. The home run wiring between the electrical panels and the ceiling was severed in the master bedroom at floor level. In the hall bath, all of the fixtures and cabinetry was removed except for the cast iron tub. We contacted Jeff, the cabinet guy, with our bathroom sink choices. As the week wrapped up, the electrician was continuing to work on his bid, so the house still had wires, switches, outlets, and in-wall heating units dangling all throughout. It would be nice to get all of that stuff out of the way and start from scratch. The next week, we ordered our new Electrolux column-style fridge and freezer with trim kit that tied the 2 units together. They were part of an early Home Depot Black Friday sale, and we jumped at it, choosing to store them in our barn until they were needed. I don't know the actual date that a decision was made, but looking back at old emails between us and Frank, an email dated November 8th was the first time that the issue of re-siding the house was addressed. The house was clad in a composite siding from Louisiana Pacific and was commonly referred to as simply LP siding. Back when I was a realtor, we had specific classroom sessions teaching us about the implications that LP siding would have on the sale price of a home, which included background information on the product. In short, you didn't want it. Removing old siding and putting up a newer acceptable replacement, such as the fiber cement Hardy Plank product from James Hardy Industries, was expensive. And when we began this remodel project, it wasn't in our plans. The problem that Frank was seeing was how to significantly change all 4 elevations of the house with new windows without needing new LP planks, which were no longer on the market. In addition to the new windows, the crew had found several areas where the LP siding had rotted out. As I mentioned in one of the first installments of this series, Frank did not like to cut corners, and he worried how the house would look if he tried to patch areas of missing LP siding with newer hardy plank. Amy and I called an audible on this one, and we told Frank to go ahead and re-side the entire house. In the long run, it would increase the value of the house. The crew was already on site, and the house was already torn up and we were moved out. There wouldn't be a better time than now to do it. Frank suggested that we treat the two south-facing gable ends of the house with a contrasting siding such as hardy shingles. They would be much more durable than using wood shingles and would hold the paint for much longer. We called a second audible regarding the windows in the basement. Once again, we originally thought about keeping the original windows, but since all of our new windows would sport a white vinyl frame, while the basement windows would have a beige colored frame, that would be another mistake if we wanted the finished product to look proper. Once more, I couldn't find the exact date of this decision, but we made the choice to demolish the front deck and construct a new one. When Frank's crew was getting the foundations ready for the new roof's supporting posts, they noticed that the rest of the deck had settled. Most of it had at least partially pulled away from the ledger board, and other underdeck supports had also settled. And we didn't care for the old decking material at all. It was some kind of composite material that looked cheap, and the surface of the deck had a wavy look to it as each plank sagged between the supporting joists. Add to that the necessity of having to patch the 3 square holes where the old roof support post penetrated, and like the siding, it would be another mess to patch up and have it look good afterwards. Amy and I also thought of the bigger picture. Here we would have virtually a new house with new siding, windows, doors, and a new roof section providing protection to the front deck. It made little sense to have our house's welcome mat, so to speak, be some old worn-out deck and stairway. We didn't have a plan yet, but we made the decision to move forward with a new front deck. At this time, we planned on keeping our old rear deck. Another thing that we brought to Frank's attention were the floor squeaks in the kitchen area. Every time we walked over the floor, it gave out loud squeaks, and Frank said that he would look into the reasons behind the squeaks and do his best to find and fix them. We had asked Frank to look into the possibility of replacing some of the roof trusses with ones that were slightly peaked, giving our new great room, kitchen, dining, living room area a little more headroom. After seeing what it would cost, we felt that we could spend that money elsewhere to better effect. Frank had finally gotten a hold of his out-of-town structural engineer to work on the above-ceiling beam solution in the small bedroom hall bath area of the house that I covered in the previous segment, so that was moving forward. The crew had to shore up the master bedroom floor before they cut portions of a few engineered joists out from where the new sunken shower pan was slated to go. At first, they felt that a few new beams would suffice, but later had to change that plan. Once the floor was supported, the subfloor and the joist sections were removed for the upcoming installation. It looked like the electrician's bid came in satisfactory as he began work that week by removing much of the old wiring and fixtures from throughout the house. That also included phone wiring for old landline phones, which we wouldn't be using, wiring for the security system, a huge amount of coax cabling that was used for the old satellite TV service, and all the old, and they were antique actually, smoke alarms. The house looked so much better after all of that had been removed. Finally, they removed the outside storm door from the front entrance. I hated that self-closing door as it was nearly impossible to get my wheelchair out to the front deck without the door closing up on me halfway out. That wraps up another 2 very busy weeks of our Epic Remodel project. Thank you for watching Life on the Straight, and please consider subscribing, which is free, to stay abreast of new content.